Hey all, so let's get into why Way of the Hunter is such a genre-changing game. Two very quick disclaimers. First being, I have not played the story mode, so I'm not going to include it in any of my points. All I do know is those that have played it have spoken extremely highly of it, but since I've not played it, I'm not going to speak about it. And secondly, I am fully aware that this game still has its issues, but we're going to speak more about that later. Now, what makes Way of the Hunter so genre changing? My first point, the number of species per map is incredible. We have not had a multi-platform game with such a large number of species on the map. Currently, the total species being 24 is 1/3 of Call of the Wild's total species number. Meaning, if they continue the way they are going and do not copy and paste their species across various maps, we are looking at 132 species when they reach the number of maps that Call of the Wild has got at the moment. My next point is, the animal models are absolutely incredible. The detail in them is mind-blowing. Every time you shoot an animal and you harvest it, you can't help yourself. You have to take note of the details. It is breathtaking. My next point is the graphics is far beyond anything that we've had before. Now, I do know that a couple of people have told me that they are struggling with the graphics even though they are on high-end PCs, and all I can think that it comes down to optimization or possibly a graphics setting that is not 100% correct, because the vast majority of people have to admit that the graphics is far better than anything we've had thus far. My next point is that the genetics that they've put into the game is absolutely revolutionary. It completely changes the way that you play the game. You can go out there and harvest all your big animals if you want to, and eventually end up with herds of small animals. Or you can manage your animals by taking out the smaller ones and eventually having herds of big males running around, which is something we have not had. Then, the trophy lodges. I absolutely love the fact that you don't have to end your game session just to go to the trophy lodge. It is fantastic to see that they've got the trophy lodges tied to the maps. So if you're on the map and you want to go put in a trophy, you can go put in a trophy, jump back to where you were, and go and hunt without interrupting your game. And then we get to the fact that you can actually cross water that is deeper than knee deep without traveling at the speed of a snail or being teleported back to the edge because you've now supposedly drowned. Now, I do know in deeper water it does happen. The fact that it happens far less than what we're used to is fantastic. Then you've got the details that you get on the harvest screen. All the information, the bullet cam. I absolutely love that. It is something that we've wanted for a long time and we've got it here. And that brings me on to the photo mode. I can spend hours in the photo mode just tweaking an image, getting your character into the right position, changing the time of day just to get the perfect screenshot. It is so addictive, and I do not know why it's taken us so long to get a hunting game with this feature. Now, I do know that Classic has got it. However, Classic is not available across multiple platforms, hence why this makes it onto the list here. And then we get onto the way they treat the community. Now, granted, they are not fantastic when it comes to communication and giving out information freely. It is something you really have to dig for and look for. However, if you go on there and you have an issue with a bug, they don't immediately ban you because you're complaining about a bug. They are more than accommodating, and it is fantastic to see. The fact that we actually got a gameplay trailer and we got some dev diaries prior to the release, which, by the way, we're still waiting for Call of the Wild, the Angler. We have not seen any gameplay trailers. We've not seen any dev diaries from them regarding that game. So the fact that we got that for Way of the Hunter is fantastic. And then their attitude towards bugs and fixes is something that I cannot commend them enough about. That PS5 bug, literally one day after they found out what was causing the bug, they had a patch out. I have not seen that before in a hunting game. Normally you have to wait months until they release another patch because the excuse was always that you have to clear the patch with PlayStation or Xbox before you can have a patch released. And this has basically just proven that that was a load of hogwash we were always sold. And if a development team wants to fix something and they are able to fix something in a speedy manner, then you can get a fix. Now, like I said earlier, we do know that the game is not perfect and it's still got got its issues. However, I trust 100% that they are working on that, and as soon as they can get those fixes out, they will come out. Now I'd just like to talk about a couple of things that I would like to see in the game coming in the future. And please note, here I'm not talking about DLCs or weapon packs or dogs and the likes, just small things that they can tweak and add to the game, which I think would make the experience even better. For example, the hollow logs and bushes that you've got that have got no hitboxes. I would like it if you had to get to a log, you have to step over the log. If you get to a bush, there's actually noise that you're walking through a bush, and you can't just walk through the center of the bush, you have to go through the leafy part. It would just improve the immersion so much more. Another thing I'd like is more animations when animals get shot. I've had a couple of instances where I've shot an animal and it reacted 10 seconds after the shot. I've had instances where I shot an animal and it just fled, and I had no idea if the shot was good or not. Then I would like the hunter sense to be modified. That fisheye lens with the blurry vision on the outside of the screen is not something I'm a massive fan on. That is probably one of the things that I had the biggest gripe about in the beginning, and I still don't like it. I feel that they could just leave the screen 100% normal and just include the assets that you get with the hunter sense when you have hunter sense activated. So you can see animal calls, you can see tracks and the like. I would also like it very much if you had a way of retrieving your vehicles at every fast travel site. Like for example, at campsites, there is no way for you to retrieve your vehicle. Now I'm fully aware that your campsites are generally off the road and it's not easy to get there by vehicle. However, if they could make it so that when you retrieve your vehicle, it is deposited on the road closest to the campsite, then that would be much more beneficial. Because if you're opening up the map and you get your vehicle stuck on a bridge and then you walk to a campsite, it doesn't help you to retrieve your vehicle. However, that's not a necessity. It's just something that I would really like to see. I would also like to see more freedom when it comes to mounting your trophy. Different poses and the like would be really nice. Not a specific pose tied to a specific stand or mounting platform. Then I would also really like it if you were able to spot the animal that you want to shoot. It doesn't have to change visually, it doesn't have to highlight the animal in a glowing aura, but if you were able to spot the animal that you want to shoot, when you shoot it and the moment that there is impact, it leaves a marker on your map. With the way that it works at the moment, and you have to leave a marker when you want to shoot your animal, you are not 100% certain that your marker is exactly where your animal was, which I think leads to a lot of the issues with people not being able to find the blood because the marker was not where they shot the animal. Whereas if you're able to spot your animal, then shoot it and have a marker on the map come up and show you where your animal was, then you can physically go into your map and leave a marker where that animal was last spotted, which would then come up on your HUD. And you can go to where your animal was and track it from there. And another thing I would really like to see them do is for any future DLCs or maps prior to release, I would really like to see them test it more thoroughly so we can avoid these little bugs and issues that we have got with the release of the game. I can't help but feel that they didn't have enough time to test the game properly or to test the game across enough platforms, because if they did, they would have found that the PS5 had an issue when you harvest your 50th animal. They would have picked up that your blood trails vanish. They would have picked up most of the bugs that they've got at the moment. But folks, that's all I've got. Let me know down in the comments what you think makes Way of the Hunter the most revolutionary game in the hunting genre, and what would you like to see in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.